Now, let me go to the questions, and I'm just going to go down the list, and I'm going to cover all these questions because where is Miss, oh gosh, where is Miss Patel? Miss Hina, where are you at? You there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know the question that we did yesterday and I couldn't figure out what they were wanting? Do you know all they wanted? They wanted you to do completing the square.
Oh.
And they did it separately. And
Gotcha.
it's just very annoying the way they asked that question.
Yeah, it was confusing to me when I saw the numbers. I said, what?
Well, I'm going to show you that question, but that is not a very good question the way they ask it. So I've spent the last 24 hours doing about 6 or 7 of these questions, and I've had to do them on 3 or 4 sheets of paper because that the way they asked the question, they had asked the question differently, like find the completing the square on the left side or the right side. If they had just said that in the directions, then that would have opened up the whole question. But anyway, I'm kind of irritated about some of these questions because they're a joke the way they ask them. So I don't know if all of you had questions about it, but we're fixing to go over them. And I'm just going to go, I'm going to go from the test questions, and I think I did 1 or 2 of these yesterday, but I can't remember, so I'm just going to go through all of them. And the first question, 140. First question I'll do from the top. This is 1.3, 81/27. 1.3, number 81 in the book, number 27 online. I don't even know which one this one is, but okay. This this is not a bad problem, okay? This problem, I want you to write it down. And I want you to put on this problem calculator drill / orientation / vertical, horizontal shifts. That's what this question is asking. Okay, so I don't want you thinking that this is some kind of, it's all it is if you've got a graphing calculator, you need to utilize it on this problem. Okay, they tell you to compare, and first of all, let's go through the change base formula. This one is dead. I put me a big trash can over there so I can throw away my Sharpies when they die, because I have a whole handful that I don't know if they're good or bad. All right, so the change base formula says if you have log base A of X, and A is not equal to E, and A is not equal to 10. Then you can rewrite log base 10 of X over log base 10 of A, or log base E, which is natural log of X, over log base E, natural log of A. All right, so you need to know the change base formula, and all of you should know that. Because the calculator, unless you have a new one that puts in the new base, okay, you can't really You can't really graph these unless you put them in the change base formula. So this first one, log base 6 of x, is going to be f of x, or y in the calculator, is log of x over log of 6, or natural log of x over natural log of 6. So I want everybody, this is your base graph that they are wanting you to compare everything to. So everybody take your graphing calculator right now and put in log of x over the log of 6, or the natural log of x over the natural log of 6. Now, could this be a test question? Yes, it could be a test question, because any test question that has vertical and horizontal shifts on it, I will ask on a test, okay? Y is equal to, and I'm just going to do log, I hope this thing don't blow up. I need to put a parenthesis. Let me clear all this. Okay, parentheses, I'm going to put mine in parentheses. Log of x divided by log of 6, and graph that. And I'm going to hit zoom 6 for zoom 6. Whatever. Graph. Zoom 6. Thank you. There it is. All right, I want everybody to make sure you got that in your book. That's your base, that's your basic model. Okay? And then we're going to put the others in. So I'm going to move this down. I'm going to move this down. And after you put all these in the calculator, you should be able to tell whatever they ask. Okay? So this one is going to be the log of x minus 1 over the log of 6, because the minus 1. So that's the horizontal shift of 1 to the what? Since the 1 is in parentheses with the x, that's a horizontal shift of 1 to the what?
Right.
To the right. So so you need to make a note of that, but we're going to do it in the calculator. X minus 1 over 6. I'm sorry, x minus 1 over 6. So I'm going to go to y is equal. And I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to type in parentheses log of x minus 1 hold on a second. Minus 1, close parenthesis, divided by the log of 6. Close parentheses, and graph. And look at there. Horizontal shift of 1 to the right. Next one. Well, somebody look at your family of graphs and tell me what an x squared function looks like. Look at your family of graphs and tell me what a x squared function looks like. Does it look like a half of a volcano or a full volcano? Everybody should have that, you know. Full volcano. It looks like this. X squared, anything with x squared in it is going to look like a full volcano. Now with a logarithm, it's going to look, something like that. So let's go ahead and graph it. So y is equal to x squared, log of x squared over the log of 6. Log of x. Oh, shoot. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why. Let me hit delete. And let me put a parenthesis back in there. And I think that's okay. Yeah. Okay, let me go down. Now let's type in parenthesis, log, and I done forgot what it said. Okay, log of x squared, excuse me, x squared, close parenthesis. Using a calculator with a mouse is about aggravating. Squared, but I will do this for y'all. Log of 6. I will sacrifice for y'all. Graph. And there's your first one. There's your horizontal shift to the right. And let's see if the volcano comes in. There's the volcano. Okay, it's going the opposite direction. Okay, that's fine. It's a logarithm. So it's going the opposite direction. But you see the volcano effect. All right, there's the volcano effect. Now see what's next. This is going to be log of x over the log of 6, quantity squared. So I'm going to type in, I'm going to move it first, log of x over the log of 6. So I'm going to go to y is equal, go down to number 4, parenthesis, log of 6, or log of x. Is it log of x? I'm sorry, I'm having to go back and forth. Log of x over log of 6, sorry. Log of x, close parentheses, divided by the log of 6, close parentheses, raised to the what? Second power. So that's going to turn it upside down right there. That's your lavender. Lavender. Let's change our window a little bit. Let's go from -5.
Can you go back real quick and to the change of base rule for the log of 6x in parentheses squared? What that was?
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me finish what I'm doing here. -5 to 5. And then let's go from -5 to 5 here. I'm just trying to get it where y'all can see it a little bit better. There's that one. There's the one to the right. There's your volcano. And now it's going to turn it upside down. You just turn the blue one upside down. Does everybody see that? You turn the blue one upside down. Okay. All right, hold on just a second. Go ahead and finish the last two. I got to answer this right quick. Okay, sorry about that. All right, now, Mr. Anderson, you had a question. And let me go back to y is equal. Okay, there's your, you want to look at number 4. Is that the one you want to look at?
Yeah, I think so. So it's So it's just log x over log 6 and the entire thing squared. That's what that.
Yeah, got to look at the see it right here. See there? This whole thing squared.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I see.
And then the last one. Now, I will tell you that the last one can be, I had to answer that phone because they're finishing up my truck and I need to go. I need to tell them it's going to be right at 5 o'clock when I get there. That's because I'm in class. That's why I had to answer. So anyway, I got now I'm going to type in the last one, but this, you could argue this one right here, but I can tell you right now, it's going to be a horizontal shift of 1 to the left, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. I did it, but I can't remember.
If you base it off the rules, that makes sense.
Yeah, but somebody could argue that it's a vertical shift because it's outside of the 1. Okay, I don't like the way they wrote this. Okay, I would much rather them write a parenthesis and then put +1, and then it would be a vertical shift. I think they want a vertical shift here. I can't remember. So I'm going to type it in, and I'm going to type it in as log of x over the log of 6, close parentheses, +1. And then I'm going to do it the other way, and you'll see why I tell you that I don't like the way they wrote that. Okay, so I'm going to go down to 5. And we'll see when we type in the answer which one they want. We're going to do both. Okay, I'm going to do log of base x over log 6, log of x over log of 6, close parentheses, +1. And then we'll do it the other way. So let me move this back up because it's okay. So parentheses, log of x divided by log of 6, close parentheses, +1. Does everybody see what I'm saying? Because now I didn't have a problem with the first one, because look at the first one. What did they include with the first one? They included parentheses. Now that told me, since the 1 was in the parentheses, that told me that it's a horizontal shift. But they don't include the parentheses here, so I'm thinking vertical shift. Do you see what I'm saying?
I think that's actually what they wanted was a vertical.
Okay. So if you graph it, then let's see if it's a vertical shift here. There it is. It's vertical shift, 1 up from the blue. So that's the vertical shift. Okay, question. Now, the next questions are going to ask everything that we just talked about. Now, I'm not going to go through those questions with you. I mean, I'll go through the first couple. Well, might as well go through it. But I don't know who sent this question, but hopefully now you see that it's not a difficult question.
I sent it. The thing, but I was trying to go about graphing them by hand, and that's what I couldn't figure out how to do.
No, you don't do that. No.
Okay.
No, you'll go crazy trying to graph. No, you do it like this.
Okay.
Now, the reason I did it like this is for y'all to see the difference in the colors. Now, that's one thing I like about this calculator. It puts the different colors on there, and that makes it. So hopefully that helps each of you, okay? Question on those. And you can see what happens when you have a -1 with the x. That's a horizontal shift of 1 to the right. So the dotted is, so that's not it. That's it. 1 to the right. And we feel good about ourselves. Say again?
For those graphs there, it shows the y-axis, the negative line going the whole way down the y-axis.
Yeah, the calculator doesn't show that. Don't worry about that. Just pick. They're wanting you to see the horizontal and vertical shifts is what they're doing. Okay, so don't worry about that. They just don't show it. All right, this one says log of x versus log of x squared. Well, that's the volcano. Which one is the only one that has a volcano in it? A, Hubert. That's right, class. Thank you for the input. What's the next one? All right, what does the log of x? We said it looks inverted, doesn't it? It's inverted. So your blue line is going this way, and that would be this line, A. Because that's x squared. That's just about the same line, and that's just about the same line. So it's not inverted, so it would be A. Do you see how less complicated it is when you do all the graphs at the beginning?
Yes.
It's a calculator drill. And what about this one? We said it's a vertical shift. Which one shows a vertical shift up from the blue line? C.
C.
That's it. Now that's a good question for a test, but I wouldn't put 4 or 5. It'd be good if it just had a couple, but that's a good question for the test. Okay. Are you good on that one?
Yep.
Okay, good. Let's erase that one. I'm going to try to erase these as I go. All right. Next one. This is 1 point. Really? Sorry. This is 1.381/27. We just did that one, didn't we? Thought I deleted it. Did not delete.
No, that's the same one. That's
T-Rex College. Okay, 1.37625. Let's see which one this one is. Oh yeah, this is our buddy, Mr. O'Quinn. This is the question that has the old ancient type. Let me see if I can find one I did. I think I did this one. I'll just redo it. I'd like to have my notes though, because I don't want to mess it up. Let's see if I can find my notes on this one. Yeah, I did I think y'all sent like 4 or 5 of these questions. Different ones. So go ahead and write it down. And this is of 9, base 9, log base 9. There it is. So I'm going to pull up my handy dandy do-jigger. All right, the first thing you do, let me make this a little bit bigger. First of all, is this a test question? Hail to the no. It is not a test question. Okay? You got to remember the change base formula first. Change base formula. So basically that denominator right there, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna say A to the 2 over log base 9 of A. And I'm going to take this over here and I'm going to rewrite that as log of A over the log of 9. Now, I'm not too crazy about using lowercase a and 9 together. Okay, as a math teacher, I would never do that because they look what? They look similar. But you could rewrite this as that. So that would be a to the 2 over 1 over log of a over log of 9. Now, what do you do when you take a fraction and divide by a fraction? Or whenever you divide by a fraction, what do you do?
Quit.
Quit? Yeah, that's a good answer. But most of the time, you multiply by the what?
Reciprocal.
So I'm going to take my handy dandy pink, and I'm going to multiply by the log of 9 over the log of A. And that's going to give me A to the 2 log of 9 over the log of A. And of course, the whole time you need to set this equal to Y. That's kind of the first step, setting it equal to Y. Okay, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to take the natural, I'm going to take the log base 4 of Y. I want to take the log base 4 on both sides because it says I want to use the base 4. So log base 4 of Y equals log base 4 of A, and then that makes, oh, and this right here, the power rule, this comes out to there. So that's going to be log base 4 of 9 squared over log base 4 of A. And somebody tell me what happens to the log base 4s of A's.
They cancel.
They cancel. And here's another ancient rule that you need to remember. Can somebody tell me what the rule is right here? Does anybody know the ancient rule of logarithms here?
If they're the same, they're both equal to the same thing.
Okay, if the bases of the logs are the same, then they basically cancel each other out. How many of y'all remembered that one?
I just did that in pre-cal, so I remember that one.
Okay, yeah, but you just did it in pre-cal. Those of you that haven't had pre-cal in the last 6 months, do you remember that one?
No.
A lot of people do. In fact, I reminded y'all when we did the exponential laws, I reminded y'all that if the bases are the same, you set the exponents equal to each other. Well, this is a continuation of that rule. But that's not the rule that made me irritated. This over here is what I'm like, really? You want a college algebra student to remember how to do this over here? Yeah. So Y is equal to 9 squared, which is what?
81.
And that's your answer.
See, my problem was nowhere does it reference that as a function, so
I know.
making it equal to Y is just a pain in the butt. I mean,
The question is not a good question. The question needs to be reworded, and I emailed the company, the publisher, and I said, this question was written by a math person. It wasn't written by a teacher because it doesn't explain enough to the student. It's not my favorite question. But does everybody see it? Hopefully that helps you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it? Question. All right, no questions, so I guess y'all understand it. Nobody's gonna say anything. Y'all gonna be quiet, not say anything on the. Okay, that's fine. Just make me feel bad. I'll just put smokestacks on my truck. Maybe I'll make my truck squat. Maybe that's what I'll do. Make me feel better about myself.
what, front end up in the air and
Yeah, like a
Good,
dog
drag-
scratching his hand on the carpet. Yeah, that's what I'll do to make me feel good about myself.
You need to squat and put smokestacks on it.
Say again?
Squat it and put smokestacks on it.
Yeah, there you go.
and put lights underneath it.
Yeah, there you go.
Real lights, the neon
So
lights.
people can make fun of me. 1.365/21. Okay, this question is the one that Miss Patel sent in. And Miss Patel, we're going to do this one, but it's not. The first thing you do on this question is graph it. Go ahead and graph it on your calculator, right there. F of x is equal to 32x minus 16x squared. Graph it. And find the vertex and find the right intercept, the x-intercept. That's the first thing you need to do, because you need to understand what's going on with this thing. Okay? Let's see if I can find mine, because I already drew it. I don't know if I drew this one. I drew a couple of them, but I don't know. See if I can find it while y'all are doing it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, this one. Yeah, I did 256T. So we're going to do this one together. So I'm going to pull up the handy dandy calculator. And I'm going to type in I'm going to clear all these. I do not like this. There's some things I like about it, some things I don't. All right, so 32, I don't type it in like that. Negative 16 c squared, x squared, plus 32t. Y'all got it? Yes, Hubert, we got it. Good, class. Yeah, y'all suck. Okay, that sucks. So let's go ahead and do zoom 0 for fit. And that sucks. So let's do zoom standard. And then we might have to zoom in. There we go. Ugh. They tell you to put it in some kind of a, okay, they don't tell you to turn. Well, let's spread it out. Let's do a, usually you get, okay. I'll do the window and spread it out. Let's make the, well, I'm waiting for the window, so it may take a minute for me. Okay, I'm gonna make the max. Okay, I don't care about the negatives because distance can't be negative. So we're gonna go from -1 to 20. And then from -1 to 1500. And graph. Wait a minute, I think I know what's wrong. Yep. 1. Shouldn't be that small. Let me try 1,000.
The parabola is facing downward, I think is
Yeah,
why.
it's supposed to. Yeah, because it's negative. Okay, I don't know why I'm having a problem doing this.
All
but
you're seeing is the
draw
top
the
of it.
function for you. The function looks like this.
Your window has a massive X field.
I know, I don't know why. Anyway, it looks like this. And the vertex is going to be in the middle. You need to find the vertex. And the vertex will give you an X and a Y. That's the highest point. And then this is your second x-intercept. The first one is 0, 0. I did this like 3 times before class, and it gave me a nice graph. And I do it in the middle of class, and it gives me a crazy graph.
Your Y max is over 1,000 or at 1,000.
Well, I know why. I know why it's doing it, because I'm using the answer for another problem. My other problem gave me a Y of 1,000 and something, and that's what's wrong. So I'm going to do zoom in. I'll just do it manually. Zoom in. And I'm going to go up here. And I'm going to put my vertex right in here. And
you have a work email.
And enter. There we go. Is that what y'all's looks like? I got it graphed right. Negative 16x squared plus 32x. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me blow it up some more. I don't know why it's doing that. Zoom, one more. Let's zoom it in one more. In. Enter. And I'm just going to go right in here. Enter. Well, anyway, there it is. And you see that your vertex, we can go to second, trace, and do a maximum. And I can see that I'm real close right in here, so I'm just going to hit enter there. And enter there. And a middle.
Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
I get 16, and that's not right. It's not, something's wrong with this graph or something. I don't know what's wrong with it. Somebody tell me what y'all get for your vertex.
I got 1.0000005 and then 16.
Okay.
So pretty much the same.
I just haven't done this problem. That's why. Okay, so there's your graph right there. And somebody tell me what your 0 is over here. 2? Probably. Somebody can look that up. So your ball goes up, and then it goes to a point, and then it what? What goes up must what?
Come down.
Come down. Now, the way that this question, I want everybody to make a note of this. This question is going to focus on the pink side and the yellow side. Everybody with me? That's what they're going to focus on, because this is not a one-to-one function. If you take your handy-dandy horizontal line test and you draw a horizontal line, how many times does it cross the horizontal line? Twice. So it's not a one-to-one. So what they're going to treat it like is they're going to treat one side as a one-to-one, the pink is a one-to-one, and the yellow is a one-to-one. So we're going to do this side by side. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Again, this is not a question I would put on a test because it's confusing to the student. So now we're going to do completing the square. All right, we're going to set it up as negative 16t squared plus 32t plus blank is equal to h plus blank. Now I want you to complete the square. I'll start you off by factoring out a negative 16. That gives you t squared minus what? 2t plus blank is equal to h plus negative 16 times blank. What's half of 2?
1. Or
What's 1 squared?
the same.
So it's negative 16 times t, shortcut number 1 or 2, is equal to h minus what? 16. Like I told you, this is not my favorite question because they do the help me solve this. They explain it to you by doing half of the completing the square at a time, and that's why it's confusing to everybody. Okay. So now I'm going to divide by negative 16. Now the difference between this problem and the ones we've done before is this problem's got a variable in it. So you're going to treat it a little bit different. A different animal than if it has a number on the side. So we usually have a number where the h is. So this is a little bit different. I'm going to cancel this out. And I'm going to factor out a negative over here because I want to clean this up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this on the next page. And that's going to be t minus 1 quantity squared is equal to, and I'm going to pull a negative 1 out of the top and a negative 1 on the bottom. And that's going to give me negative h plus 16 over.
You're off the screen right now.
I think I got it right now. Over 16. And what's negative 1 over negative 1? Negative 1 over negative 1 is positive 1. So I'm just making it look different. So now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And that's going to give me negative h plus 16 over 16. And I'm going to take the square root of that. Now, anytime you take the square root of something, you're going to get a positive or a negative, right? But I've got a negative right here, and I'm going to factor that negative out after I take the square root, and that's going to change this to a negative and a positive. Okay, so just take my word for it, okay? So that's going to be t minus 1 is equal to negative and positive, and that's going to be h, the square root of h plus 16 over 4. And then that's going to give you t is equal to positive or negative the square root of h, negative h plus 16 over 4. And then they're going to put the 1 right there because you bring it over. And that's what they're going to ask you. Now, why do they ask you this? I want to make a note here. This pink right, remember the side? Remember the pink side right here? That pink side is going to be your positive. I'm sorry, your negative. That's supposed to be a negative and a positive. Sorry. Negative and positive. That negative is going to be the pink side. The positive is going to be the yellow side. So you're going to see that here in just a minute. They're going to ask you to find, because this is after, what is this? This is 1 second. Everybody knows that, right? At 1 second, where is the ball? 15 feet. At 2 seconds, it's at 0 feet. So on this side, the pink side, the ball is going what? Up. What's the yellow side?
When it's coming down.
Going down. All right. So the question's going to ask, let's go back to the question. Is it a one-to-one function? No, it is not. From 0 to 2, it is not a one-to-one function because it does not pass the horizontal line test. Vertical line test tells you if it's a function or not. It is a function. Okay, find the inverse function that, okay, that would be negative. It would be 1 minus, because it's going from 0 to 1, okay, travels upward. Okay, I want you to highlight that upward because that means the pink side. That means the pink side right here. Sorry, I'm trying to show you 2 or 3 things at one time. That's the pink side right here. And the pink side is 1 minus the square root of negative h plus 16 over 4. Now, I may have my signs messed up in the inside of the radical. I'm just going to punch in 3. There you go. Negative h plus 16, 1 minus, yeah, I got it. 1 minus, there you go. Now, what's the difference in this side and the yellow side? What's this going to be right here? It's going to be a plus. Do you see why this is not a good test question? This is not a good test question. Okay, so now I'm going to take this. Can I copy this? Of course not. And it's going to be 1 plus the square root of 16 minus h over 4. Ms. Patel, are you there? You starting to see that all they did is complete the square? See? 1 plus square root of 16. And now they ask, okay, at what time is the ball at height of 9 feet? So that's the height. So let's type in 9. So this is D. I'm going to put D right here. So I'm going to move this over. I'm going to put D. And that's going to be 1 minus the square root of negative 9 plus 16 over 4. D, oh, I'm sorry, 1 minus the square root. What is negative 9 plus 16? Dang old 7?
Is that, yeah, 17.
It should be 7.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody take the square root of 7 for me, please. What's the square root of 7? Give me 2 digits. 2 point what?
2.65.
And divide that by 4.
That's 0.66.
And what's 1 minus 0.66? 0.34? 0.34?
Yes, sir.
So 0.34 seconds. Now, of course, I didn't do the directions. I wasn't looking at the directions. If anybody did the 4 digits, can you tell me what you get? because you should have done 3. You should have done 4 digits with the square root of 7. So somebody do 4 digits with the square root of 7, divide it by 4, and subtract it from 1. And somebody give me 4 digits, please.
I mean, I just plugged in the 0.66 and I got 0.3386. So.
And you feel good about yourself.
It's 1 minus 0.6614.
0.6614. Thank you. 0.6614. Now I want you to do the E. Okay, what do you mean do E? Well, you're going to do it on the other side. Now you're going to add, because you're on the yellow side now. Because here, what do we say? 0.33. I'm going to show you where we're at. 0.33. Well, see, that's a third. That's a third. So at 0.33, we're at 9 feet. And now over here, what are they asking? 5 feet. Well, this is 9 feet, right about there. So 5 feet would be around in here. So 1, 2. So I'd say it's going to be like 1.5 or 1.6. No, it'd be 1. That's 1.366. You know, 1.85 or something, maybe. I don't know. All right, so somebody plug 5 in, and I'll do that while you're doing it. I'm gonna fill it in so that way you can have it on the recording. So E is going to be 1 plus the square root of -9. I'm sorry, 5, right? -5 plus 16 over 4. Somebody, -5 plus 16 is dang old 9, isn't it? No, it's not. Is it 11?
11.
Thank you. The square root of 11 is what, 3.3? Somebody give me the square root of 11 to 4 digits, please.
3.3166.
Divide that by 4 and give me 4 digits, please.
0.8292.
1.8292. I believe I said 1.85, didn't I? Golly, I'm good. All right. So hopefully I just disassembled their confusion on this problem. 1.8292. Now, do you feel better about that problem, even though it's a sucky problem? Do you feel better about it?
Yes, a little bit.
And I can tell you a little trick I learned in the war. You can take your dadgum second table set, and you can set that sucker to like 3 digits, 0.001, and you can actually take second and go to table graph. And if you took the time, you could actually find 9 foot and 5 foot, and you get a very close answer over here. You could round to 4 digits, 0.0001, and you could use the table to find it. So that's something else you could have used. But you'd have to go down. It takes forever on this calculator to get to 9 feet. So I'm just telling you, that's another way you can check your work.
Couldn't you set the table to start at 9?
Yeah, you could do that too.
Man, I don't know how to do anything with a graphing calculator.
Well, you got to learn a little bit. You got to learn how to use the basic functions. This is just a way you can check yourself. All right, so let's do something else. Let's do another one. Miss Mattel, does that help you? I know she asked that question yesterday. Ms. Patel, are you there? Can you type in if that helps? I hope it does. Okay. Oh, look, Tri-County signed me out again.
I think they're trying to send you a message.
Yeah, to quit using technology. Try to get in with the rest of the college and do posters and projects. All right, this is 1.321/10. The reason I'm not worried about doing, because most of these questions are they're overlapping. Okay, now this question really pissed me off, because if they'd have worded this question right, all you'd have to do is this. Let me go to Word. Some of you may remember this, and of course I remembered it, but the way that they word the you lobotomize. You don't know what they're asking for. But I wrote this rule down, and it's another rule that you probably don't remember. Please tell me it saved it. Hold on, let me see if it saved it. I bet it didn't. This PC. Documents. I want y'all to read this and write it down. Ad lib if you have to. Where is it? Oh, come on. I saved it. There it is. Oh, the heck with it. Write this down. Graph of inverse functions have a domain and range just like any other graph of the function. Now, here it is. You don't have to worry about that. Take that out. Read that. The domain of an inverse function is the range of the original. And the range of the inverse function is the domain of the original. Write that down. You don't need this. So, after you write that down, have you got that down? Everybody got that down? Now, do y'all remember that when you were studying inverse functions? Okay, nobody's gonna
Partially.
Some of you do? Well, good. All right, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, and you can graph this function if you want to. I'm going to take my handy dandy f of x is equal to 7x plus 3. And my domain of this function is all real numbers. My range is going to be what?
All real numbers.
All real numbers. Now I'm going to do y is equal to 7x plus 3. X is equal to 7y plus 3. X minus 3 is equal to 7y. X minus 3 divided by 7 is equal to what? F negative 1 of x. Now, basically, it's going to be all real numbers again, but all you have to do is graph it. Because if you graph these two, you'll see the function, you'll see it a whole lot easier than if you do it algebraically. And if they would put that on here and say, what is the domain of range of each function? It would have made a whole lot more sense. So here we go. Y is equal to 7x plus 3. 7x plus 3. delete, 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 delete. I can't stand these new calculators. 7x plus 3. And the inverse function is going to be parentheses x minus 3 close parentheses divided by 7. Mode or zoom standard. I'm about ready to quit.
Why is there a fraction?
There you go. Yep. Now, somebody tell me what the domain and range of the red line is. All real numbers and all real numbers. Because it's going to keep going from left to right forever. So that's all real numbers. And it's going to go down. It's going to keep going down like this. And it's going to keep going up like this. So all real numbers. Same thing with the blue line. So if they'd have worded the question to where somebody could understand it, then you would say the function has an inverse on the intervals from negative infinity to what?
Positive infinity.
So there you can answer the question now that you've been interpreted, now that it's been interpreted to you, because somebody at My Labs Plus can't speak frickin' English. And what I mean is this, when this is read by a student, most students will sit there and go, what the hell are they talking about?
That's what I do.
And hopefully that makes you feel better about yourself. So you don't have to.
I won't have to take my wife to the courthouse this Sunday.
There you go. All these dang old rules. All right, delete that one. This one says 1.318/9. Okay.
We already did that one, or I figured that
yeah?
one out. I don't know if you went over it, but I figured it out. I figured out how to do it.
Well, I've got it here somewhere. Hold on, I want to do it because
8 times
I
9
can't find it.
log of 5.
I didn't know the rules for figuring out natural log.
Here it is. It would help if they gave you this ancient rule that none of you probably know. This is the wife beaten. Yeah, this is one of those rules that you don't know. A to the B is equal to E to the B natural log of A. Now, I don't want you to lie, but how many of you knew that rule?
I did not.
After reviewing the textbook.
Yeah, exactly. So 5 to the 9th is equal to A to the B. Therefore, A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 9. Plug in what?
Chud.
E to the 9 natural log of 5. And that's the answer. I'm not writing it. I've got too much stuff on my keyboard. Now, what kind of questions am I going to ask? I'm going to ask the questions that tell you to expand a logarithm, to contract a logarithm, to solve a logarithmic equation, to graph a logarithm. That's what I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to ask you if you can remember who attended Wimbledon and what was their addresses. This is 1.317/8.
I think we did this one yesterday afternoon after class. We went over this one.
Well, I need to go over Driveride. Let me find it. Oh, I did this one. Oh, I did this one. I just did with a, yeah. Here's this one. I picked an example. And this one, I just told you to, in this problem, I say log f of x is equal to log base b of x. And I tell you to just substitute in log base 10 of x. So substitute, and you get log base 10 of x. Now you could use log base e of x. I wouldn't use anything else because your calculator can do log base 10 of x and log base e of x, which is natural log, and you wouldn't have to do the change base formula. So I'm going to pick log of 10 of x, which means that the inverse is going to be 10 to the x power. That's the inverse. So this is f of x, and this is f of negative x. And that's what they're telling you with these so-called directions. Okay? Now graph it. Graph both of them. And when you graph the log of 10, or log of x, the log of x looks like this. The log of x looks like this. And the hold on. Sorry. And the inverse function looks like this. Now, this is not a test question, but your range, your domain for your, okay, it says for blah, 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 for what are the domain and range of f of x is equal to log base b of x. Well, log base b, that's going to be 0 to infinity, because you can't take the log of a negative. Now, we established that yesterday. So that's going to be this one. And what I'm going to tell you is, I don't want you going home spending hours thinking about this question, because it's not a test question, and it's really not a good question. So I want you to remember, parentheses, 0 to infinity, parentheses, 0 to infinity. And then your range is going to be negative infinity to negative infinity with parentheses. So that's going to be this one right here. And that's it. Now, this is the one question out of all the questions that I really don't want you spending a lot of time on, because it's really not that big of a deal. Next question. I ain't going to get the limits today. I ain't going to finish limits. I wanted to finish limits, but I don't think I'm going to make it, because I got to cut class off right at time. This is 1.365/21. Okay, we did that one. I hope Miss Patel is okay. That's the one I was doing. Remember when I was trying to set the graph at 1,000?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a better question, because the reason it's a better question, I know. Thank you, Miss Sterling. You can talk. It's okay if you can talk. This one is a better question because you actually can throw the ball or whatever projectile.
Priority 1
You
message
can
coming
see it a
in
whole
on
lot
secure
better.
channel.
Going to 1,000 feet versus, what was it? 16 feet? That 16 feet wasn't realistic. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and jump to another problem. Now, like I said, part of this problem is a good problem. I just don't like the way that they did it. They could have done it by, they could have said, graph the function, determine if there is one side or the other, or blah, 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 blah. They're not, I don't like the way they're doing it. And like I said, these questions, okay, that one's got view and example. But most of these questions that doesn't have a view and example, I think they come from some closet, some guy in a closet somewhere. And evidently, he I don't know. He just don't know how to write questions. 1.349/17. This may be the question that I told might be. I don't know if we did this question in class or not. This is a test question. Somebody tell me if we did this one. I don't think we did. This is a test question. I'm gonna do this one and then we're gonna stop, okay? This is the reason I want to show you this question is because this is the type question I would ask you on a test as far as logarithms. First of all, break it up into quotient rule. Log base b of the square root of x minus log base b of the cube root of x. Then rewrite without radicals, log base b of x to the 1/2 minus log base b of x to the 1/3. Use the power rule, 1/2 log base b of x minus 1/3 log base b of y. It's supposed to be y, I think. It's supposed to be z. I'm sorry, z. And now, what is log base b of x? 0.35. And what is log base b of z? 0.85. Somebody do that math for me and give me 4 digits. Take 1/2 times 0.35 and minus 1/3 times 0.85 and give me 4 digits. Come on.
1/2 is 0.175.
Okay, that's 0.175, but I need the rest of it. What's 1/3 times 0.85?
0.2833.
0.2833. Now take 0.175 and minus 0.2833 and give me 4 digits. It's negative.
Negative 1083.
I'm sorry, one more time. What?
Negative 0.1083.
And do we feel good about ourselves? Yes, we do. Okay. Now, do y'all feel a little bit better?
Yes.
Good. How about the rest of the class? Let's type it in. How do you feel with those questions now that we deciphered the alien, the alien directions? Good. 15. Good. Well, if it makes you feel any better, y'all saw how I was confused, and it took me a day or two to actually figure out how to do it. Overwhelmed just from how much reading I have to do. What reading? We ain't got anything to read in here. It's not all about you, Miss Sterling. Remember that. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording.